It's a very sad situation that 54 years down the line, we have not resolved as a country the issues around nationhood. If you have separatist agitations issuing from all parts of the country, even from where you considered safe in the past, they are joining the fray, demanding to be free from what they call a contraption. It means we have not actually addressed the issue of nationhood. That's where the problem is coming from. I was barely born when the Biafra conflict of 1967 occurred and fizzled out after January 1970. General Akufo-Addo's administration, regime, because military must be called by its proper name. It wasn't an administration, it was a regime.
Is it okay?
He declared no victor, no vanquished. But you and I know that that was a political statement because the systematic exclusion of the Southeast from the scheme of things from 1970 to date has only accentuated, continued to worsen, culminating in the present government's total exclusion of the zone. You see, the younger ones do not need to really experience the war to understand that they are coming from somewhere, and here they are in a country that hasn't quite demonstrated that they are needed. That is where the problem is. People have talked about unemployment, talked about this and that. I think many of those factors are quite secondary to me, even unemployment. You see, in social science research, there are factors you call mediating factors. These are factors that, when they are available, they will make the causative factors come into effect quicker, with fruition. I see unemployment as such because unemployment is not peculiar to the Southeast. It has engulfed the entire country. So it's not really. I think the fundamental issue is the issue of nationhood. It hasn't been resolved. And the average Igbo man has questions to ask. And the more he asks, is the less of the answers he gets. This becomes disturbing. Now, this is not an attempt to justify the separatist agitation. I am a federalist. I believe in a fully restructured Nigeria. I still believe it's the best deal for everybody. But are we really making any efforts to restructure the country? I'll tell you why I say so. You see, we had 3 key constitutional conferences that culminated in the country's independence in 1960. Those conferences held between Nigerian founding fathers and colonial Britain. They agreed that Nigeria must be organized as a federal system. Today, Nigeria is a completely whole and entire a unitary system. Pick up the 1999 Constitution. 68 items there are on the exclusive list. You have about 16 of the items on the concurrent list. The word concurrent means the federal government has the right to also legislate on the 16 items where the states can come in. Not only that, there is also an express provision in the Constitution that says that the laws made by the federal government, that is the National Assembly, as it were, where they are in conflict with the laws made by the state assemblies, those made by the state assemblies are, no, they are null and void. Yeah. They are voided to the extent of their inconsistencies with the provisions of the laws made by the National Assembly. This is a clear unitary arrangement. What that means is that most things that would free the states as federated units now to go into full productivity are domiciled in the federal laws. Let me give you a clear example. One is security. We are talking about insecurity today. Nigeria is the only federal system in the world that has a single police force. So why is anybody surprised that insecurity has come to roost? The chicken has come to roost. It's expected because you cannot have 400,000 men or less police 200 million people scattered in 774 local governments in 36 states and the federal capital territory. It's impossible. So the police cannot cope with the enormity, with the sheer enormity of the number, poor training, poor motivation, poor remuneration, coupled with undermining, what you call, undermining. That's the word. Undermining here means that you don't have enough policemen out there. Do you know that out of the less than 400,000 policemen you have, up to 150,000 of them are following big men, guiding monumental buildings, government establishments, and so on and so forth? The implication of that is that the actual number of policemen left for free to do the statutory police duties are not up to 300,000. How can that work? That has led to Nigerian military drifting from their statutory role to man police posts in as many as 30 states in Nigeria. Is this a rocket science? Can't we see it? The escalation of what you call fault lines has led to ungoverned spaces also expanding. Ungoverned spaces simply mean areas where government cannot cover. How can government cover, Nigeria as constituted, our landmass, the population, with less than 300,000 policemen who are actively on duty? It's not going to work.
Okay.
And this has led to what we have seen in the Northeast. Northeast, we were talking about Boko Haram. It has now mutated into banditry. From banditry to kidnapping, now you have unknown gunmen. There's Southeast Nigeria that only few days or perhaps few weeks ago was the most peaceful part of Nigeria. It's now home to unknown gunmen. This is a self-inflicted injury. We need to return to the drawing board. If we have to get it right, it's not rocket science. There is an adage in Igbo parlance. It says that the smith that does not know how to make the metal gong has to imitate the tail of the kite. It's simple. What you don't know how to do, you find the global best practice. It's there for you to copy and paste and get result. Little adaptation and you are home. But because the unitary system of the country is serving a section of the country, the section of the country that the unitary system is serving is opposed to returning the country to a truly federal system. Now,
but
the way it is,
when you say it is opposed,
yes, it is opposed. I'll tell you why.
Is that not
It's not presumptuous. It's not presumptuous. I have consulted for one or two committees, particularly the Senate committees on the alteration of the 1999 Constitution. Many of the clauses that will free Nigeria and make us back into a federal system are or were blocked in the states. And we have records of the states where this has happened. The states that have blocked our return to true federalism, we know who they are, who blocked it in Abuja here in National Assembly and in their respective states.
Okay. If you look at what is going on now, then before the war, it wasn't like this, where you have some persons in the southwest already saying they want to go. Then some persons in the even in the middle belt are also clamoring too. So now we have different tunes clamoring for them to have their own state. probably because they are not satisfied. How do we sustain a united Nigeria, which is very important?
First and foremost, let me tell us that self-determination is inherent, inalienable right of any ethnic group. They have the right to self-determination. Whether the self-determination would lead to a sovereign nation is quite a different thing altogether. Because for me, I'm here to be educated to the point of appreciating that self-determination must mean the same thing as a sovereign nation. I believe that self-determination can be achieved within a sovereignty. I believe that Nigeria of let me say, post-independence, just before the war, when you had the 3 and later 4 regions, they were self-deterministic enough, as far as I am concerned. They had all they needed in terms of legal provisions, constitutional provisions, to exist as federating units to the point that the then Eastern region, under Mike Opera, was adjudged by the World Bank as the fastest growing economy in Africa and about the 5th in the world. Awolowo led the West, the Western region, to a fantastic growth rate, to the point that he was able to create color TV in the Western region before 1 or 2 countries in Europe. The Northern region was growing very fast under Sir Ahmadu Bello. Sir Ahmadu Bello, in fact, he led the thrust in agriculture. And the North, remember the eras of, Granite Pyramid and so on and so forth. The Northern region then was self-deterministic. Let me tell you, if you understand the basic tenets of parliamentary system of government, if Sir Ahmadu Bello was the leader of Northern People's Congress, by convention, he was supposed to be the Prime Minister of Nigeria and not Tafawa Balewa, who was his deputy. But because he had enough leverage to develop the North, he didn't find that more challenging. He decided to remain the Premier of Northern Nigeria. What I'm saying is that the Biafra agitation that is looking for independence, I do not think, I am a Biafran, but I do not want a sovereign Biafra.
Why do you say that?
I believe that a restructured Nigeria will serve everybody better. I want Biafra by default. Biafra sovereignty, to me, should come by default. By that I mean, if Nigeria breaks up, if Nigeria imposes Biafra on the Southeast, why not? Give us a decade. We will deliver a country to compare with Singapore. That's a fact. But for me, I don't think we should really go away from Nigeria. We have too much stake here. We have a lot here. Let me use Abuja as an example. 70% of private properties in Abuja or there around is owned by the Igbo man. You don't leave things like this and just walk away. It's like setting up a party and you walk away from a party you set up. We are the greatest stakeholders in this country. What we need is our rights in Nigeria.
And when the right is not coming,
when the right doesn't come, you insist on it until it comes.
So your word now is that they should be patient and remain in Nigeria and
insist on restructured Nigeria. They must insist on restructured Nigeria, and they can get restructured Nigeria. You see, you look at it from this perspective. Restructuring is not just the Southeast agenda, no. It's the agenda of the entire country. In fact, even the enlightened interest of the North is underscoring the need for restructuring now. ACF recently acceded to restructuring. So if they acceded to restructuring, why not? So why don't we restructure as a precursor. If you restructure Nigeria and it still doesn't work after restructuring, then centrifugalism will naturally break the country into the component parts that will yield up the independent nations that will come from it. But for me, for now, I don't think that Nigeria is not salvageable. I don't think so.
Okay, now.
I believe that what we are facing at the moment is failed leadership at all levels. In the Southeast.
So what's the solution to failed leadership? If you say we are facing failed leadership, if you look at what's going on in the Southeast, look at what's going on in the North, even the Southwest, the security level has dropped.
Let me tell you what I prescribe. I listened when you did there was a report that brought up the statement made by the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum.
Yes.
Engineer Dave Umahi said that if you don't open the shop, you will lose it because it's government lock-up stores, right? What I want to know, what security measures has he put in place to ensure the safety of the people he is now bringing out? Do you see what I mean by failed leadership? You don't allow people to put themselves in harm's way. So he considers it's a bait now. People can now come out to be killed.
Or you stay indoors and your shops
then he
will
now
be taken away.
He showed a paper, you know, that Ebebago has been signed into law.
Yes.
Are we talking about signing Ebebago into law or making it operational? Is Ebebago operational? For me, it's only a political statement. I haven't seen anything about Ebebago anywhere. So if you don't have Ebebago to ensure that the people can come from their homes to these markets, to the offices, and return safely to their homes, you are putting them in harm's way. That is what I mean by failed leadership. I expected that when Amoteko blossomed and rooted in the Southwest, that is Southeast ought to follow. But only this year, they belatedly, reluctantly, came with Ebebago. Maybe it's only Ebonyi that has signed Ebebago into law. You have 4 other states in the same Southeast. And even in the Ebonyi state where the governor has shown that they are signed the bag into law, there is no operational modalities in place. I saw a few dozens of men with a uniform they call the Ebebago. That's not what we mean. You need to counter insecurity in the zone,
the region,
and in the country as a whole. You see, you talk about unknown gunmen. Unknown, it is the job of Ebebago to make them known. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you say that the police has failed you, if you say the military have failed you, then why are you not doing something to help yourself? Let me tell you. You see, self-defense is universal. Self-defense, you do not even need any law to defend yourself. You have right to life. So we want to know, what have the Southeast governors done to ensure that lives and properties are actually protected? I have seen nothing. It's a lacuna that Nnamdi Kanu's IPOB is occupying. It's a leadership gap. It's so obvious. Eastern Security Network came into being because there was no Ebebago. If Ebebago was up and running, there wouldn't have been any need for Eastern Security Network. If Nigerian police is actually doing a statutory job, there will be no need for Eastern Security Network. There will be no need for Ebebago. There will be no need for Amoteko.
Okay.
Do you get my point?
Now let's talk about the sit-at-home order, because if Ebonyi governor is saying if you lock your shop, you will lose it.
I would prefer to lose my shop than lose my life.
Then, just like you said, if you don't sit at home and something happens to you, who should be blamed?
That's the question. That is exactly the question. There is no measure in place to ensure that the civil servants in the states would go to work and return. Let me also tell you, you see, Biafra remembrance has been on for decades.
Yes.
How come the Southeast governors have not appropriated it if they know what leadership means? I want to know. Why don't you make May 30 a public holiday? Southwest governors did the same thing with June 12, appropriated it. They didn't. until Biafra agitators now appropriated it. Failed leadership. Failed. Total failure. Now, you are now forcing people to come out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Without any countermeasures in place. Did you listen to Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast? If you listen to that broadcast, you will not come out. I did. I have it. I'll forward it to you. Now, if you have such broadcasts and the Igbos are circulating it amongst themselves, and you know it is real, you've seen people die, you even see that you have unknown gunmen, you need to see videos coming from the east. I'm sure you have seen some.
I've seen some.
You need to see videos coming out from Imo.
Who dead armed men, yes.
Gulak just died in Owerri, killed by unknown bandits.
According to the police.
According to the police. Many more people are dying. And you are talking about shop. What shop? Who would come out when he knows that it's either his shop or his life? You don't need no shop. You need to be alive to operate your shop. You see, if they had appropriated the Biafra Remembrance Day, they would be the ones saying, let us stay at home and pray for the fallen heroes. That is how you counter such things. That isn't done. You're not issuing threats that if they don't come to work, they will be sacked, they will not be paid, they will lose their shops. It is not what it ought to be. They have to be a little bit more creative. Now, coming to solution, say
Yes.
what is besetting the country at the moment is existential. That's a fact. And it is not just peculiar to the Southeast. In fact, for me, the Southeast Nigeria is even a recent entrant into the mix. The equation didn't start from the Southeast because Boko Haram, the terrorism is still very active, in fact, expanding. They have, they are now working with ISIS, which has led to what we call ISWAP, for West Africa. You have bandits. The statistics we have is that the active bandits in Nigeria may number up to 30,000. Do you know that is a full army? 30,000 armed bandits.
Do we have that number of armed army?
That
Military
our military may be a little higher than that in number. But I tell you that's a whole army. And they are armed, ready to die. We need to wake up. And now unknown gunmen have joined them. Before then, we even, of course, the issue of the killer headsmen, right?
Yes.
Look at the policies that led to the killer headsmen. The policies are governmental policies. We have had one or two governors saying that they want to resettle stranded Fulanis in Nigeria. Yes. It's a policy. We also have seen the testimonies of somebody like Governor El-Rufai who said he once paid them. Now, well, he's a repentant person now, so to speak, because he said he's no longer going to pay.
Exactly.
But the money he paid before, we don't know the amount. Can he say what they used the money for? It will not be out of place to speculate that they use the money to equip themselves and confront the state in a much more dire manner as we see at the moment. The point I'm trying to make is that, look, all serious countries don't play politics with national security. If you know that farmers and herders have had an age-long issue, build ranches. I listened to a former governor of Nasarawa State call the bluff of the southern governors, said they were sounding like a broken record. Do you know it's partly right? Do you know that Governor Addo is partly right? You don't say you proscribe open grazing.
Without a solution.
Where will the cattle graze? Look, let's face reality. I want to know what stops the governors from creating ranches
in their states.
In their states.
But sorry, I need to come here. When you talk about governors creating ranches, then that means other business owners will also need the governors to create their own business environment for them.
Listen. You see, that is a weak argument I've had from some people.
Yeah.
Spare parts traders in Abuja here, mainly Igbos, got land given to them by the minister.
Government.
Go there concentrated. Do you understand that? Whether they paid for the land or not, I don't know. But I know that they got to a place, say, look, move to that. In fact, they've been moved twice or thrice. Do you understand that? So government can come into a concentrated business and provide a leeway. There is even a more patent reason why government will have to take the issue of ranching seriously. Let me tell you. Do you know the cattle the cattle, because they are not ranched, their owners don't pay no tax? They are not on they are under the radar, the economic radar. What that means
but
is
before now, we used to have grazing reserves. We used to have grazing reserves.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say that if government were really serious, especially the federal government, all they needed to do is to revive the grazing reserves. They don't want to do that.
The areas may have been taken over by
find alternatives.
If you build houses, beautiful houses, development and technology.
You find alternatives. If you know that grazing reserve A has been taken over, you look for a nearby portion. The grazing reserves, were they not created by government in the first place? You can't allow the cattle to be roaming all over the place. Let me tell you. I side with the farmers. Do you know why? It's not the farmer that carries his farm to the cattle.
It's the cattle.
It is the cattle that comes into the... And in fact, there was a judge. There was a judge and a judgment, I think in 1956, that ruled expressly that it is not the duty of the farmer to protect his farm. Because the farm is stationary. It's stationary. It is the owner of the mobile cattle that should do something. Okay. And that is where I fault the Attorney General of the Federation. He said that the cattle have the right to move. It's not true. He's a son, a senior advocate of Nigeria. I challenge him to show me the section of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended that allows free movement for cattle. It's free movement of Nigerian citizens. And nobody has said that a Fulani herder cannot settle anywhere he wants. What Akufo-Addo said is that, come out of the forest, let's know who you are. I agree with Akufo-Addo. If the Fulani herders can protect their herds and don't come into conflict with the farmers, you and I will not be having the discussion.
All right,
but for them to be allowed a free rein to move from north to south, east to west, as they trample upon farms, killing and maiming. Women have been raped, husbands killed because of cattle. Look, other countries of the world are working on how to get to the moon. You and I are here debating on how to rear cattle.
Okay,
are we not ashamed of ourselves?
We need to take some messages at this moment. Let's quickly go to our Twitter handle because our time is almost up. We quickly take this one coming from Ridwan or Laurel Kiri. Ridwan is saying we don't learn lessons from the past. That's what our problem. That's our problem. And Flourish is also tweeting. He said, "Time for roundtable discussion. We can't continue like this." No. And this one coming from Andrew Ufua. It said, "It's time to move forward. Nigeria cannot be stagnant." And Manuel is tweeting. He said, "I think the civil war is over. If the civil war is over, how come we are still feeling the beats, the drum beats of crisis in the southeast and other parts of the country? And where is the way forward?" I do not want a broken Nigeria, just like you said. I don't think most of us want Nigeria to be broken. But what they are asking for, what people are asking for, those I have spoken with, is justice.
Return Nigeria to true federalism.
That is
Let me tell you what that means.
Why is it that if some elders are saying, let's call for a national dialogue, and that is not accepted? Why?
The incumbent president is not disposed to it. That's the truth. One of the reasons Nigerians looked in the direction of General Buhari in 2015 was because they believed he will take care of security, fight corruption, restore the economy, and do something about federalism. In fact, it's one of the key campaign points
For the APC.
for the APC. And somewhere down the line, there was even an El-Rufai committee on restructuring.
Now that's the question. What has happened to that?
The president is simply not interested in it.
And that's why they just kept the recommendation.
That's it. The president is not interested. And that's the truth. Let me tell you, it has to come by way of political will. The president will have to put his foot down. And it's not the only one. Goodluck Jonathan also messed up his own chance.
After the 2014 national conference.
He called the 2014 confab that gave us over 600 deliverables. Only about 150 of them required constitutional alteration. Did Jonathan implement one? That is why when APC say, look, you give us some time, I tend to agree with them because you were there for 16 years
so
as
how long
PDP.
can they give? How long can they give a government?
No, you see, the issue remains, let me tell you, you will not be able to resolve the problem the country has in the National Assembly as presently constituted. No, it's not possible. I'll tell you why. You see, when the Southern governor spoke about the need for restoration of federalism, the chairman of National Assembly, who doubles as the Senate president, Dr. Lawan, said they should first restructure their place. He was not in his place to make such a statement. What that meant is that restructuring under Lawan as the chairman of National Assembly is dead on arrival. Do you understand that? That is one level. And you have the issue of entrenched interest. The unitary system of Nigeria is favoring some people. It's favoring, to be specific, northern part of Nigeria.
Do you really mean the part or the northern elite?
No, northern part of Nigeria. I'll tell you why.
Because there are still people who are clamoring for freedom in the north.
Listen,
a lot of them are also saying they are not.
I have not seen any serious clamor for freedom in the north. I haven't seen, beyond Middle Belt. See, the unitary system, it has rendered itself to the disadvantage of certain parts of the country, especially the southeast. Southeast has only 5 states. The other states, other regions in Nigeria, other zones, have at least 6. Northwest has 7. And where it comes to local governments, Kano alone is made up of about 44 local governments. That is the number of local governments of Anambra, Ebonyi, and half of Enugu put together.
Okay.
And these are bases for revenue allocation, federal slots, allocation, including admission into schools.
All right.
So you can see, you really need to you must return to federalism if you want to. I think those who created this problem are those who are calling for restructuring. What I am calling for is restoration of Nigeria to true federalism.
All right.